Alright, today we're going to have a look at the Octoprint plugin. This is Octoprint, and as you can see here, first thing that you notice, there's an additional information about the remaining filament inside the filament scale. So this is the filament length and this is the filament weight. So you can, before starting a print, you can compare this value with this value and you'll realize whether you have enough filament for the next print or not. When starting a print, while not having enough filament, you'll get a pop-up warning and the started print will be paused, so you can decide whether you want to continue with the spool that has not enough filament or whether you want to put in a new spool. Alright, the second thing that you'll notice is that there is an additional tab here, SmartScale tab. This is used to define your spools, your material. You'll see when you have added this to this list, you'll see the last weight, and you can activate a different spool after changing. I recommend that before pulling a spool out of the spool holder, before changing it to another material, for example, you click on add filament once, so you get an update and know how much length is still available on your spool. So later, when you come back to this filament and you put it back into the scale, you can simply click on it, and the saved values will be loaded. We'll have two values here. One is the weight of the empty spool. Of course, this is difficult to get when you are when you're printing with a new filament brand or filament type that you've never printed before. Usually what I do is when I unpack it, I put it on a regular kitchen scale and say it's supposed to be 1 kilogram of filament and the scale is measuring 1.2 kilos, so I know that the empty spool should be around 200 grams. Most of us surely are printing with the same materials over and over again, so you'll probably have already some empty spools lying around to measure them. The other information is the density of the material. This is important to calculate the length from the weight. Yeah, okay, and you can give this filament a name, so you can like for instance spool 1 or spool 2 if you have multiple spools of the same material, and then if you add this you'll recognize it's down here and it's already activated. If you have already something with the same name, it's going to be updated with the new weight values and so on. Next thing I'm going to show you is this one. You'll find the information from the container up here. This is the weight, this is the length, this is the temperature inside the container, the relative humidity, and the absolute amount of water, and the pressure. Of course, most of us won't need this. I just inserted this for debug reasons. Let's head to the settings. The first page is the page that you have seen before. I'm still thinking about an option to hide it on the main screen, so you only can access it via the settings menu. Everything explained here should be clear by now. The second page lets you set up your scale. First entry is the weight of the coil that is mounted into the hole of the filament spool. This should be like around 180 grams if you're building the scale from my documentation. Second is the size of the container. If you're not using the IKEA container, you can set up whatever you have used here. And the third entry is the altitude. This is important for measuring or calculating the absolute amount of water and so on. Last entry, please take care, this is still work in progress. This is the if you have included the reptile heating, you can set up how much degrees Celsius this scale should heating should keep, And the last button, in case you have unplugged the filament scale and lost the connection, you'll find a message here, connection lost. Then you can click on reconnect to activate the connection again. Next tab is for calibration. You'll see the absolute amount of weight measured right now here. And before you can use the scale, you have to calibrate it. This is done in this with this step-by-step guide. If you have any questions, write to me and I'll explain, or I'll change this so it gets clearer. After hitting calibrate, you should normally see the same value down here, you should see the same value here that you have entered here. For instance, your reference weight is like 1 kilo, then this value should be near to 1 kilo. The last tab is showing, is letting you show or hide these debug information. You can simply deactivate whatever you don't want to see up there and hit save, and you'll see these messages have gone. Yeah, these messages have gone. So this is the Octoprint plugin. I hope you have fun. Please let me know if there's anything that can be optimized. I must admit I'm totally not good at programming, so it would be perfect if you could head to the GitHub and have a look at the code there. I'm sure there's a lot of that can be optimized. So yeah, I'm happy to get comments and feedback to make this whole thing better. Have a nice day. Thank you for your patience. Bye.